It's just a funny song. We never thought that it's a special song as a band, but through many lucky accidents, all of a sudden, all the radio started playing it. All of a sudden, we were in like Bravo and all these like magazines for young people. Oh, it was such a weird time. Greetings, everybody. This is Vivi, aka Ville Valo, and this is my top 3. Oh man, you said my top 300. You mentioned, or top 3,000. There's so many. Top 3. I would have to say number 1 is Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. Number 2 would be Songs of Faith and Devotion by Depeche Mode, and number 3 would be. Oh no, that's a hard one. Let's say Bloody Kisses by Type O Negative. Well, my first big concert was Iron Maiden, who played in Helsinki Ice Hall. I think it was 86. They were touring an album called Somewhere in Time, and they had Wasp as their support act. And that was the first concert I ever went to. I still have the T-shirt, and I spent all my weekly allowance for the T-shirt. And it's still there. It's a bit small. I can't really, it would look funny on me these days. But I'm hoping to meet the guys at some point so I can ask them to sign it. That'd be great. But that was a big deal for me. Then sort of like in a similar vein would be Kiss when they did their reunion tour. So we took the ferry from Helsinki to Stockholm, and they played, I think it was 96. The sort of like the putting the masks back on and doing the old 70s sort of show. That was such a big deal. And we had such a blast going there because it was all like, I think it was 200 or 300 Kiss fans from Finland. And we sort of like took over the ferry, and it was all about just kiss, 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 and kiss. And it was an amazing experience. And also I got to see them really up close to the stage. It was maybe 10 meters away from the stage, and it was one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. The third one, there's a lot of good ones. I'd say, I can't remember the year. It was in the late 90s. It was Monster Magnet. It was a funny incident. I was partying with a band who had the tickets for the gig, but they all passed out. So I was able to get one of those tickets and actually go in there, and I was let in, and I think I was 17. And the place was over 18 only. So I remember that gig because of that. And I was super drunk too, but it was amazing. It was great. It was in Helsinki in a club where actually we're going to be playing when the album's coming out, the solo album's coming out. The club is called Tavastia, and that's the place where him played the last gig as well.
Be water, my friend, like that.
Yeah, I see.
The easy top 2 is my mom and my dad. We get along very well, and they're very inspiring in their own way. And I think they always appreciated individuality. Let all flowers bloom, as we say in Finland. Let people do their own thing and without hurting anybody in the proceedings. But my mom and dad, they're very inspiring. And then I'd say Mige, the bass player of Him, one of my oldest friends. I'm a person who's very nervous and who's on edge all the time, and he's very zen. He's very collected. He's very calm. He's really funny, and he puts people at ease, which is a cool quality to have. Oh, well, so many things revolve around music that I do. It's like I think it would be it's reading and it's bathing, and usually at the same time. So I love to bathe. I've always loved doing that. It's very relaxing. It's great for the voice as well because it gets the everything warmed up. Yeah, I don't dare to read from a Kindle in the bathtub. I'm afraid that I'm going to drop it. So I prefer the old school books. A third thing, especially on tour, is to find out a good local vegan or vegetarian restaurant. So I've been a vegetarian for most of my adult life, and now with the new band, there's one vegan in the band as well. So it'll be quite interesting. But it's changed a lot since we started touring with him in the 90s. A lot of people didn't know what vegetarian was in a lot of countries. Like I remember Portugal being very hard to find any food that we could eat with no red meat, and so that's changed quite a bit. So it's culinary mission a lot of times on tour. Number 1 would probably be When Love and Death Embrace. That's from our debut album. It's a song we always played with him throughout all the years, and it's a song we're going to include on the new tour as well. It's a special song for me for many reasons. One of the first songs I ever written, and all that. But yeah, it's an emotional one for me. I'm going to pick a song you haven't heard yet called Neon Noir. It's the title track for the forthcoming album. In that recording, I'm working on that song, sort of like all the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, and I saw like the sound of the album and how I'm going to work on it, and the lyrics and everything. It just felt right to me. I really dig the song. I think it's a nod to the past. It has a lot of hymn about it, but then it has a bit more sort of like Jesus and the Mary Chain, sort of Cocteau Twins, sort of that guitar jangly, weird atmospheric bits going on as well. And then the third one, well, the obvious song would be Join Me in Death, because that was a big deal especially in Germany, in Switzerland, and Austria, and in our home country, Finland, because it was number one. I think I'm not sure about Switzerland and Austria, but it was close. But it was number one in Germany and in Finland, and it changed everything. It's not necessarily that the song is the best song I've ever written, but the song opened up many doors and changed our lives, basically. Some songs start to feel older at some point, and some songs still feel fresh. And Join Me sounds good. And it's just a funny song. We never thought that it's a special song as a band. We never thought that, but through many lucky accidents, all of a sudden, all the radio started playing it, and then it turned, because we were like a metal band. All of a sudden, we were in like Bravo, and all these like magazines for younger people. It was such a weird time. It lasted for a year and a half, and we felt so out of place. But it was an interesting experience to go through.
What a lovely day!
Ooh, not all the time. No, because then I could say Twin Peaks. That would be number one. But and then some like comedy things like Fawlty Towers. I really liked I May Destroy You on HBO. It's a great series, and it's very different. It's quite challenging, but it's not arty in a bad way. I don't want to tell you anything about it because it's like a drama, but it has a lot of comedy in it. Yeah, it's quite dramatic. It's quite emotional at times, and it's a really good one. I May Destroy You, Twin Peaks, and then, because we're here, I need to say Der Alte. Do you know those German cop shows from the 80s? There was Szymanski, there was Der Alte, there was Matula. That was a big deal. For whatever reason, in Finland, we got to see all the German cop shows. You can just combine all the 80s cop shows from Germany. I grew up on that stuff.